Welcome, challenge to another episode of
Mhm.
Fandom Station. I'm your host Maverick, and this is my co-host Everdeed. Today we have a special guest. What would you like to be called, actually?
Our good
Young,
friend Silver Tiger.
Silver Tiger.
full name is Silver Tiger. Just call me Silver for this. It's easier.
Are you a Sun? Are you a Sun fan? Are you a Sun
Yes,
fan? By
okay,
any
do you
chance?
perhaps time travel? Um,
Only
What's
on
your name?
occasion.
Actually, where does your name actually come from? I never asked. Silver Tiger. If I did ask, I forgot by now.
I don't know how to explain it in any way that isn't mildly like cringe, but I think it basically boils down to I took my favorite color and my favorite animal back when I was in high school and made a username out of it and thought it sounded cool. And I just kept
Okay.
using it.
All right,
he's
so
a
it's
Silver Tiger.
Yep.
that makes sense. That's very normal. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind
Like
of hard.
there's nothing deep about it.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
I just took some things that I liked in high school and smashed them together.
Oh,
yeah.
damn! Am I the only one who came up with my name in college?
I
I
think
guess
so.
so.
I
To
think
be
so.
fair, yours had the best like organic like coming up from what I hear.
Yeah, well, let's see. What I don't know. Mine. I just like to resonate. I resonate with the word Maverick. I think I looked it up online what it meant. It was like somebody who's very individualistic. I was like, that's me. I'm different. I'm
It's
like,
got
I
very
see.
like
I'm
rebellious
different.
connotations.
I feel like I'm very. It's weird. I was like, this feels like a little bit. I did feel like very rebellious. So like, I don't think I'm that. I don't think I'm that way. But I was like, I don't know. It's cool. It sounds cool. But then people start asking if I was like a what's his name again? Jake Paul fan or something like that. Logan Paul fan. I was like, because he calls his fans that. And I was like,
Imagine, bro. Imagine being
no.
called a Jake Paul or Logan Paul fan simply because you had the name Maverick.
And then people also, I think a few times people were like, "Oh, so do you like Top Gun?" I'm like, oh, there's a character who's called Maverick in Top Gun. I was like, no, not really. And then Top Gun Maverick came out. I was like, come on.
For copyright infringement.
Not even more people gonna be like, so
Your
you're
username
Top Gun.
before the thing. It was cool.
Yeah, and then also I'm not sure about this, but like, have any of you heard the No Game No Life opening before?
I haven't heard no game no life opening.
I think I have. It's been a while, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Because like there's like the part where they say we are Maverick. I'm like I look back like this is where I first heard the word Maverick before. That's the one that came to my mind. Cause I was thinking game. I was thinking like I need a gamer name. And then the first thing I thought of was like Maverick sounds like it'd be a cool game name.
Honestly, valid choices.
And Evil Dead, you like that was for a D&D character originally, right?
No, this was way before D&D actually, or it was after I started playing D&D, but it was like before the name originated. I got the name from Silver Tiger introducing me to a friend that we just played hacky sack with. Crazy as fuck statement. I never thought that I would actually play hacky sack, but we did play hacky sack.
I like you just explained that like that's most normal thing. So I had this friend Silver Tiger who introduced me to a friend after we just got done playing hacky sack for the day.
Yeah, but
Like,
we played hacky sack.
And this all happened in college.
Yeah.
We played hacky sack. We went to dining to eat.
We just went back to hang out at my place, and then he walked in the room.
No, it was in the. I don't remember. It was in the cafeteria. We were in dining because we went together, and he asked me, "What's your name anyway?" And I remember I just said "Evil Deeds," and like in the dumbest fucking way.
And
it just stuck.
You just started a legacy right there.
Yeah. And then this has been a few like variations right over the years.
There is a few that I have written down.
I've got a list somewhere.
I know.
We made up for
it was either Silver Tiger or another friend that came up with Nefarious Acts, and I do like Nefarious Acts.
I remember Nefarious Acts.
I
remember Malicious Acts.
Malicious Acts. Yes.
I think I made one that was pretty cool. I forgot what it was.
Were you the one that did Maleficent deeds, or am I? Or is that?
I think I did something like Malevolent Actions or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let me see
Okay.
if I can find it.
Enough preamble. Let's get into the news. So I don't think you know this, but we do like a news segment first, just to just keep track of things going on in the anime video game community. Then next we go into like a main topic, and then if we feel like it, if we really feel like it, we'll like go over like a highlight reel of what we've seen over the past few weeks.
We have not done that in like 7 episodes. Like, it's been a while.
At this point,
Well, now's a good time as ever to pick it back up. Yeah.
At this point, I think it's gonna be better with a guest because then they like actually have something new. Because like it's hard to come up with new stuff to say that we haven't done last week as well.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
yeah.
I'll let y'all take the lead. What's new?
Okay, Dun 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 anime reveals first promo video new visual. Now, Dun 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 is a Shonen Jump manga. It's a pretty new one. It came out a few years ago, and a bunch of people are hyped for the new anime adaptation. Do any of you have any of you heard of that manga before, Dun Dun Dun?
I've seen something for Dun 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 like
Yeah.
last week.
I'm
Yeah.
passing familiarity. Like
Okay, so
I know I know kind of what it's like, but I honestly need to get myself to like buckle down and like just honestly read through it.
okay, I'll try to give a spoiler-free premise. So this it's about this boy who's obsessed with Okay, oh, is it? Okay, which one? Like, I'm trying to remember which one is obsessed with which. Okay, I think the boy's obsessed with ghosts, and the girls are obsessed with aliens, and they just have various supernatural hijinks across the town that they live in.
What?
Yeah, they bond over their shared like weird interests and like just go on adventures. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happens. It kind of reminds me of Rick and Morty, but like more Japanese folklore themed with the aliens,
Oh,
of course.
okay. Okay.
With aliens. I can't remember
Yeah.
that. Can't forget that.
Yeah. Okay, next thing. Fate Strange Fake novel ends with 10th volume. I'm very interested in this because, like,
Great. Wait, that's over now.
yeah, because they made an anime episode last year as
Yeah.
a preview for the season that's gonna come out this year, and the novel that's based on the anime is based on has ended with this 10th volume, which is super interesting because like that's like a complete story that they can wrap up in the anime or adapt in the anime. So that'd be
That's
cool.
a lot of novels.
I mean, not really compared to most light novels, right? I think they go on for a long time. Like I know a few long light novels series that have like over 30 volumes.
Oh, you know, I can't read, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying yeah you can't read, but like you just wouldn't know if you're not in that sphere.
I don't mean to say you can't read, but
I'm not calling you illiterate, but
Yeah, I made it to college on pure luck. Actually, I wasn't even in college. I just snuck on the campus, made new friends along the way.
yeah, I mean you could just go on to college. Actually, that's not a bad idea. To just go to college and make friends. It's like, yeah, I just hung out in the lecture halls. I made so many friends. I like people like ask you how you had that much time. Like, oh yeah, I just wasn't in taking classes. So I ain't
I,
really testing anything.
I used the power of friendship to get through grade school.
Oh yeah, that's why. You hear those stories about people who didn't know how to read, who got all the way through high school. I was like, how did you do that? You heard those stories, right?
I haven't.
Really, you never heard about somebody like being like, oh yeah, I got made all the way through high school. I never learned how to read. I just had my friends help me here and there and stuff. Silver, have you heard of this before?
have I ever heard of like people doing that stuff?
Yeah. People going to be
No,
making.
actually.
You're pushing
Wow.
insanity. I've heard more about a 2-year-old going to college than I have someone graduating without knowing how to read.
No, this is I don't know, maybe because it's back in like just back in the day, 1950s prior. I don't know. I guess they weren't stringent with their education. Maybe I feel like you could maybe get away with that in like a real town where everybody knows each other. Like, okay, he can't read, but he's putting an effort in, and everybody knows everybody, and like he gets friends to help him and stuff. I don't know. I've heard stories like a few stories like this. Uh, but
So basically,
I've heard about
you've
Naruto,
seen movie plots.
but I've never like heard of anyone that I would know personally actually doing
I wish we just had a guy in chat who can just look up stuff for us. I'm like, just make sure we're not. I'm just talking on my butt.
I think you are, bro. Like you're describing the plot to some random movie you saw.
No, it can't be possible. There's no way I'm watching a movie about a literate person who doesn't know how to read.
You sure about that?
No, not yet, at least. I haven't seen Conan the Barbarian. Next thing. Pokemon Horizons anime reveals visual for new terrestrial debut arc premiering on April 12th. Have any of you seen this anime? Is it good or not?
Have not seen
Talking
it.
about
No.
talking about the new one?
Yeah, the new one's called
I
Pokemon
did want
Horizons.
to, just in case they had Cinderace. I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
As far as I'm aware, it seems to be off to a good start.
Hey, Pokemon Journeys
You
has
know what?
Cinderace.
Did I?
Yeah, Cinderace is like the main Pokemon for one of the characters in Pokemon. Like Ash has his friend called Go, and his main Pokemon is a Cinderace.
Yeah, that's an entire like anime series back though. That was the last one they did.
Yeah, that's only the last one they did. That was still like pretty recent. It can go. The animation looks completely the same as this one, as far as I can tell.
Fair enough.
Wait, it's
Fair enough.
Pokemon Horizon, right?
No, Pokemon Horizons.
Horizon's the new one.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It's not even on. I was trying to see the My Anime list since we haven't watched it, so I can see what people think of.
Demon Lord Retry R TV anime reveals mostly recast cast and staff in 2024 debut. Have y'all seen Demon Lord
No.
Retry? Really?
No,
Okay.
have not. I've never heard of it. Never seen it. Don't know anything about it.
It's an Isekai, so I thought you, the Isekai person, probably know about it.
All right, hold on. It's not like I'm just the isekai man. I know good isekai. Besides, no, there's one that I hate, or not hate. I just don't like as much.
Have you seen the one called Seven Sun, or the one with the slimes?
I know what you're talking about. I think, and it sucked ass. But I didn't watch it. That's what people say it sucked ass.
Okay.
No. Oh, How Not to Summon the Demon Lord. That one was the first season I liked. It actually broke my norm because it's a harem and an ecchi, and I don't watch those at all. But I watched the first season. It was cool.
What about season
Never
2?
watched the second season.
What was wrong with that season?
I broke my rule already. I just already broke my rule by watching it anyway. But
I would double down. I would double down. This got worse.
When an ecchi harem has a second season, and it's just, I'm not, nah. I'm just not watching it, bro. It's just not me.
Like I mean, I supported too much. Now it's getting more seasons.
Like, I did it to see what it is, bro. That's it. Oh wait, no, that's not even worse. Actually, it's Serigensuki Spirit Chronicles. Serigensuki Spirit Chronicles. I don't see how people like this. That show was ass. It was also a harem, and I hated it.
What was also a harem?
Serigensuki Spirit Chronicles.
Oh yeah. Is that isekai?
It's an isekai, yeah. I watched it.
I tell you, I just avoid all these. I just like if I see anime as isekai, I just don't watch it.
like I was watching it, like just to see what it was, and I finished it because usually when I watch something, I watch it all the way through. Shout out to Regal Thriller, which forced me to stop in the middle of the show, and that is the only one that I will never continue.
That's not isekai though. You just brought.
I'm saying that's the only anime. That's the only anime that I've ever stopped watching. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying though, it's your mistake for bringing that show back up.
You're saying, bro. I need to express my hate for that show. Like I need people to know that show success.
We'll be talking about something completely different. We'll be talking about One Piece and Naruto. It's like,
you'll bring up any excuse to hate on Redo. Which is a fair thing to hate, but
I'll be talking about this healer anime. I'm like, so this anime is called the wrong way to use healing magic, and he's like, man, that reminds me of redo a healer. They would just,
and then you just like go
but
off.
yeah, I think the only isekai that I've watched that I just genuinely didn't like that I finished is Suki Spirit Chronicles. That shit was ass.
what was wrong about it?
Like it's
Well,
just
maybe not,
fucking
but
horrible
maybe
plot.
that was wrong. Like,
Like
what did
it,
you like about it?
it had potential, but it's a harem at the end of the day. Like it just had shitty characters. The plot felt fucking retarded to me. Like, how do you beat the isekai plot of just get stronger, bro? Like, how do you do worse than that? That's like that's like general isekai right there, bro. Just get stronger. That's the plot, and
Just
you
Get
fucked it up.
Stronger as the plot is like a whole bunch of anime.
It's weird.
Like, you can take that logic and apply it to like a good chunk
Dragon
of
Ball,
battle shonen.
Naruto, all of that, but like it's everywhere in isekai.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like it's all of isekai. Just get stronger.
Yeah.
And
I think Evil Days has a point where like a lot of isekai do feel like they
let's say
don't
my
have
real fucking name. I just caught that.
we don't have a strict rule against saying real names. It's just like I try to avoid it. I try to avoid it as much as possible. Just to have a different. It separates the personas more. You know, I can tell I'm in my maverick mode. I know what not to say and stuff. I don't know. But anyway, what I was gonna say, maverick mode. No,
Like I would genuinely rather watch probably reincarnated as a vending machine than Suki Spirit Chronicles again. And I don't see why this has a 7.72 on this site, bro.
What was I gonna say? Wait, so anime, I was like, you know, when you're watching this kind of anime, you're like, okay, let's get to the plot, and then it gets involved in like something happens for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then it gets resolved, and you're like, okay, like where's this actually going though? I'm trying like kind of Overlord.
And then it proceeds to go nowhere.
Okay, like I'm gonna bring up some good isekai because I only want good isekai, but like they have this problem kind of too, where it's like you don't really know where slime is going, but you enjoy the ride. Overlord the same way. But like with stuff like Naruto, Bleach, there's usually an overall goal that spans like a bunch of episodes. But these guys just like you just gotta enjoy the ride because like they keep like there's like every arc is kind of different.
The isekai, you have to. You can't just focus on the main character. Like you have to explore side characters with isekai because it's just not as interesting if you have just the main character, which is pretty crazy. Because like there's no like a hot popular isekai with just the main character. Like it's always the main character in a group that they like to expand on. Like Slime, you have Rimuru in his group, Shield Hero, Naofumi in his group, Konosuba. Like it's always the main character.
It's kind of like a gotcha game.
I think I hate that you said that.
I mean, it is. It's like every arc they add a new person to their harem. Usually, sometimes it's
like
a guy.
They're just rolling 5 stars, bro. They're just rolling 5 stars.
Most of the time, it's a girl, but sometimes it's a guy. Just like a gotcha. Most gotchas, we can agree. Majority of units,
FSR. Like
majority of units are girls, and then some of them
are
guys. Yeah, and then like they usually be busted, like they just get them randomly. They're not even looking for them most of the time. Just like, oh yeah, I just added this like goddess incarnate into my party, just randomly, or this ancient wolf werbeast girl or something like that. I don't know. Like, isn't that the plot? Wait, isn't the plot of that Tamer anime?
Monster Tamer? I don't remember. I don't finish it.
Isn't that just straight up the plot?
I know yeah, that actually is pretty close. He was a part of the heroes party. He got kicked out, and then he just became friends, kinda, with Beast Girl, and she said, "Tame me," something like that, or she wanted him to tame her. That's yeah.
And then I watched
another one called. It continued to grow.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was a harem. Funny enough.
Yeah, I went on my way to watch isekai about like just a mediocre isekai called Black Summoner, and like the plot is the way the guy can summon people. It's like he goes.
Why did you mention Black Summoner?
So he goes around. I think he one of his companions is like the daughter of the demon lord, of course. Like that's a pretty
There's
popular
always a
trope.
demon lord in these stories.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Black Summoner had so much potential, and it just damn.
Then the other one is like an elf slave that he frees and makes a companion as well. That's a
Okay.
very popular trope. Elf and
I-
slave. There's two in one.
Can I be honest? I hate it every single time they do that.
Yeah. I mean, this
The
one, this
slave. Here's the thing with the slave trope. The slave trope can work when it's done in a way like
it's good. It's okay. The way
Say
it works, it works.
Rising of the Shield Hero with now for me. It works because
No,
she wasn't
it doesn't work.
she wasn't adopted and kept a slave.
He's
She was
still a
just
slave.
she was in a horrible situation and she got out. No, she wanted to be sort of under now for me. She wanted to because he offered
That makes
to
that makes
let
it
that
even
shit
worse.
go.
It makes it
That's
even worse.
stupid writing. That's stupid writing, but it fits with the character. She's
I'll
extremely loyal to now for me. That's the
I'll
thing.
I won't say it's neutral, but like in this one, it kind of works because like he doesn't. He frees her. He doesn't like make her. He doesn't make her his slave. He just frees her, and then like she comes along with them and stuff. So it's better. Like sometimes they just straight up like enslave him.
I don't know. The only way I will consider a slave plot good if there's a reasonable reason as to why they were a slave. That's why I said Shield Hero. Her whole family was actually captured in a
Look.
different country, and she was being touted as a slave, and that's how she ended up there. See, that's why I like it. She has a backstory as to why she was a slave. She wasn't just brought in and oh damn, slave.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
that's
I won't blame you. In context story, it makes sense, but like the writer didn't have to write like that. The writer could have freed her, but he didn't. But he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
gonna
where
judge that. That you can hate that. That's fair. But at least give me
and I
backstory as to
do.
why the character's a slave.
Like
Okay. So go
I'm
on.
not gonna say it's bad writing to include slavery in your like work of fiction, but also like when you do, there's a very specific way people feel about slavery, and it gets a little weird when you seem to like support it in your story. Like
Yeah.
He gave her. It's more like he gave her. What's the name?
what do
What
you
I
is
mean,
it?
what?
When you
Because like
so yes,
Because like
is a retaliate slave? Yes.
I don't
Like
assume any of you guys like hate yourself enough to have watched Master of Ragnarok.
no,
I've heard about that. It's about I don't really
There
know what's it's
there's
I know what it's
gen
about,
there
but I don't really
there's
know what it's about.
genuinely a point where they justify the main character like purchasing a mom and child as slaves, and very genuinely like there's no like shield hero like excuses to make around it. He is a like this the second episode is a time skip long after the first one, several years. So this kid has power now, and he still like supports the institution of slavery by
Mm.
paying for actual human beings, but he promises he'll be real nice about it.
Yeah, you see they,
Which
they
is that's just
Okay,
I
that's
figured it out. That's what it was.
okay,
That's what it
trash.
was.
from a
That's
method
not how you
perspective,
handle that
they're
topic.
perpetuating the myth of the con slave master, which I don't like. And like in these
Yeah.
stories, they are a genuine con most of the time, kinda.
Yeah, it's
Besides being a
like
slave
That
master,
was
it's like
kind
like
in
of
real life
I
that
well.
does
I
not happen.
I respect I kind of respect the attempt at doing it the shield hero does, purely because like of the way that they frame it, almost a literally no one else will help him, so it's almost an out of a necessity thing. But
It
like it
is.
very quickly develops, like the characters quickly develop to the point where this is very much not a master and slave relationship at
Yeah,
all.
and it's but
Hey,
it's weird that
here's the thing with Shield Hero.
Like
It's
like even though he purchases an actual human being, like you mentioned before, he set her free, but only after basically becoming an adoptive father.
yeah.
it's
Like
not
the thing is
Malcolm wants her to still be the
yeah.
Yeah,
slave.
I think wait,
She's still under the spell of her own
what is the
choice.
argument here?
Again, bad
hold
writing.
on. Let
Evades,
Maverick say it.
what's the argument here? What are you trying to say? I'm confused.
Do what?
Why are you arguing against? We were saying it's bad that with this in there, like they could move the plot. They can move. They can. I'm not saying they can
Oh.
move the plot. I'm just saying
Oh, at
Raphael
this
doesn't have to
point,
be
I
a
was
now Raphael doesn't have to be a slave anymore.
There is
Right?
no
He's choosing.
real
I wasn't
argument.
I wasn't
Yeah.
arguing with y'all anything. I was kind at this point. I was kind of agreeing. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah,
this
I'm
one
talking.
show did it decently, but like there's so many there are so many shows that like fly under the radar like that just hit
Yeah,
that same story beat in the worst kind of
yeah.
way.
Maybe okay.
And I am
Arguing with him.
sick and tired of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, arguing with my
I
rap. Like,
was,
what?
I was,
I'm like,
I was
anyways, what are you
defending
trying
Shield
to
Hero.
say? Like,
I
what are
was
you trying?
defending it
Oh yeah,
because
yeah. Like, I
Shield
agree with.
Hero, like
I,
Shield Hero, yes, you can say it's tasteless, but Shield Hero, the literal point of the story is he was accused of raping a princess's daughter. I don't know if
Like
anyone has ever
it
been to medieval times or back in those days, but raping the princess daughter can give you death, bro.
yeah.
And know
like
that he
like
did do it,
Okay,
but
okay.
he will
Wait,
be
I'm not. I'm
shamed
not.
by everyone. Like
Okay, okay.
like
he can't exactly walk up to some random person and be like,
Yeah,
"Yo, can you help me? I'm the hero. I'm the shield hero.
yeah.
Let's not remember what I did because I
Wait, wait,
didn't
wait,
do
wait,
it."
wait,
But
wait.
you know, like
The thing I'm just saying. The only thing I'm saying is like after a certain point, like I think it would have been better if they just freed Raftalia and then not come up with ways to
but
make
but
it
the
so that
thing
yeah.
but it's not like it's some big profound thing. She's a slave, yes, but it's not like they're hitting you over the head with it. It's not like, yo, did you know Raftalia was a slave? No, it's not brought up like every episode. Like the last episode, the start of the second season, I don't know if it was mentioned in the second season, but like they don't mention that she's a slave. We get to the names for the characters being changed to bitch and whatever the father's called end of the first season. We don't like you're not just brought back to she's a slave.
Okay,
You see what I'm
it's
like?
kind of thing like okay, imagine you have a character, just in like an analogy that goes and kills his innocent character. Nobody finds out about it. And it's never brought up. But the character's tagging on the party. They're just like a murderer, and nobody brings it up. It's not in your face. The character is just like living in life at all of the party. Nobody brings it up. It's just this character's murder. They never get any consequences for it. It's like it's not brought up, so it's not a problem. It's like, but why is that there? You didn't have to put that in there. Like
It's
you can't just.
different. It's
I'm just
it's
saying,
not wrong.
I'm just saying, there's a problem
It's a
there. That
story plot that's
I'm just,
unresolved. That's what
I'm
that
saying
is.
that's what I'm
And this
thinking.
could be the same thing.
To me, yeah,
But
to me, that's like the same thing. So it's like you have a problem. It's not brought up, but it doesn't mean it's not a problem anymore. I'm not saying it's a giant problem. I'm just saying it's a problem that it should be
yeah.
fixed. I
it's
think.
It's just
it
kind
will
of it's
probably be it will probably be resolved in the future.
I
it's
hope
just
so.
kind of
You
I just wanted to like go off on that tangent because it's just a writing trope that I see and I don't like it.
Yeah. But also another one I
yeah,
want
it's
to
just
bring up
gonna
that
put
does. No, I do want to say that just before we move on, top, I think does it kind of well actually good. I think it does good is the one reincarnated as a sword because he just frees her. He just frees her. That's all I want. That's what he does. He frees her.
reincarnated as a sword. I love reincarnated as a sword because he's not. No, it's not like he's. That's also very wrong. What you just said. Uh, she doesn't necessarily get freed. My nigga, like my man's. She's a slave, and she's essentially still a slave.
Mm.
But the only reason she gets freed is because a giant monster attacked the slave transport. She was freed because the 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 dude that was her captive ran like a bitch. That's the only reason she's free. And she
Oh,
got saved and the monster broke her chains and she just got the sword and got on down. Or she may
oh,
have killed the monster. I don't remember. But she
okay.
wasn't like freed as a slave. She freed herself essentially.
Okay. But I'll still. I mean, yeah, that does it fine. As long as it's like he doesn't become a slave master to save the slave. Like, I think that's fine. We're going to the main topic now.
That's
This is why I
fair.
brought this is why I brought Silver in here for the first place. Okay. What anime movies do you think would make for good D&D campaigns?
Ooh, okay.
That's a hard question actually.
Okay.
I don't
Like,
watch movies. That's
All right.
why it's so hard for me.
I
anime movies. Cause I kind
I
of
feel
split it up
before
into
I
a few
even like
categories.
I feel before I even talk about this, I should at least provide at least a strain of like credential for myself.
Oh yeah, go
Uh,
ahead. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't introduce you.
just on the context, long time like TTRPG player, uh, GM of multiple systems. Right now, a lot of my friends are still mostly just play D&D, which is fine. Uh, I but that's where a lot of my experience is. So I'm very used to like settings that revolve around like a high level of like magic and fantasy to them.
Hmm.
Uh,
How many campaigns have you run? Can you like count
how many
by
have
this
I
point?
how many have I run? Or how many because I've got plenty of material to talk about if we want to bring that up.
Oh, not like as much as I would like to hear that. we would probably
No,
be
no,
here
no,
for like
no. I
hours.
hear. Fair enough. Uh, I've I've done I have done across like multiple types of like different settings and stuff. I've done several like sci-fi like based games. I've played in a lot of like modernized stuff. There's plenty of
Yeah,
traditional like
yeah,
Lord of the Rings type fantasy in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's more I've done some more like dark fantasy stuff similar to like Dark Souls type of material. Uh I I I'm I'm and I'm sure by the time
Well
that
versed. You're well versed.
I do what?
So you're well versed. You've done a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
I
stuff.
have a lot of I have experience with a lot of different types of fantasy when it
Mm,
comes to like role playing games.
yeah. So
Uh,
so if you would come up, no, go ahead. Say it later.
yeah, I just wanted to provide that like context so that so that people know like what informs like my ideas here.
Okay, so yeah,
In terms of like before I actually name any particular like series or like movies or whatever, I want to say I think if you wanted to just go off of like Dungeons and Dragons, that that a lot that great like media that makes for really great like campaigns kind of like builds a lot of the setting for you if that makes sense.
mhm.
Like
That's what I was going to ask. I was thinking like when I was thinking about this topic, I was like, the most thing for me, I've like made one based on like an anime, and it was like I know it's like maybe you might say something like soul leveling be good for a campaign because it's based on game. Then you look at the wiki and stuff. You're like, there's not a lot of named items and like abilities and skills. Like a lot of it is just like unnamed. You just see it. So
yeah.
when you go into a campaign, you want to look at something that has like a deep lore
The thing is,
behind it.
even if you took like the idea of like your like setting being like in a video game, like if you took something like Solo Leveling or Sword Art Online or something or Log Horizon, right? And you have that game world and you have enough of a world to like actually say here's a bunch of different places you could be. You kind of have a huge like sandbox, if you will, kind of a playground where you can where the type of adventures that you want to like go through will actually be very like varied and what you can do
Hmm.
is really interesting and different whenever you feel like it.
Okay.
So that's funny that so and I'll explain this a little better as I go along.
Uh,
Uh because one of the first examples I was gonna say for like what kind of ones make for like a great like D&D like campaign, I was gonna go back to SAO.
mm,
I think that is a I think specifically it like any one specific like game from that series could make for a very interesting like campaign in and of
yeah.
itself.
Yeah, I was about to say like East Kyle game anime in general. I was like that's kind of cheating sometimes. Like they make some stuff for you,
Yeah,
but a lot of times
yeah.
if the world building isn't good enough, like I don't know,
If the world building, if
isn't good, you can't really
you
make
don't
a
even have to necessarily like, you don't even have to necessarily say the world building has to be good enough. It just has to be enough that somebody who's like GMing could actually like smooth
Yeah.
over the edges. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
maybe good enough
Like,
isn't what the right word.
using
Maybe fleshed out now because because sometimes you don't need. I really flesh out word like One Punch Man. One Punch Man, the ribbon is great. The ribbon is great, but like the name is say city A to Z. But you don't need to
Oh
know the
no,
name.
wait! Don't disrespect One Punch Man.
I'm
Don't
not.
disrespect
we're
One
not
Punch Man.
disrespecting One Punch Man.
No, I'm saying like the world isn't like there's not a lot of detail to some cities or so to some areas, but the war
within the
it's
context.
it's enough. It's enough for the story.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was gonna say too. Is like
yeah,
when they wrote One Punch Man, the author did exactly enough to tell the story he wanted to tell.
yeah.
You kind of need a little more than that if you're gonna have a film or like a TV series that can inspire like RPG games.
Yeah.
You don't need like bleeding amounts of detail. Like you don't need to know like every NPC in like the next town,
Mhm.
right? But you do need to at least there needs to at least be enough world building that you can get a feel for like that you can get a feel for what this like fictional society kind of behaves like.
Not saying you can't
Like
do that because like Kelton's play. I mean, even then again, even these has played the One Punch War RPG game, but from what I heard, they do a lot to flesh the world out and make it. They did a lot. They had to put some
Dragon
effort in
Ball is
to
an
make it good.
amazing like campaign setting.
Yeah. Oh yes,
Like
there is a lot of
like
stuff.
you can because look at that. You have plenty of like material for like a modernized like setting if you want to be like in the like big cities. If you want to go out into the wastelands, you can have like a survival type of thing where where you're being hunted by dinosaurs.
Yeah,
If
you
you
got
want
Mount
to
Power
play
Zone.
if you want to play like a if you wanted to play like a sci-fi campaign, you could literally have like your own like anime characters like planet hopping like the Saiyans do.
Mhm.
What I would love for a campaign is Cyberpunk. That would be an
Yeah,
amazing campaign.
That would
yeah, it would.
yeah,
That would
I agree with you.
it was it's so good. You just go to the game and like and just like copy that for like
You
your
just copy
weapon
the
design.
game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're basing off a game anime, you're kind of cheating.
Yeah.
The only thing is certain because like it's genuinely the same because it was made by the same people that made Witcher. So you have certain like hacks that you can do. Hacks can be considered spells, and certain because like you have hacks for like suicide. You have hacks for like vision disruption. Like you have hacks for like almost everything. Like it's genuinely the
I'll say I think a lot of like battle shonen kind of lean themselves really well into like the type of world building that makes these kind of
Oh,
campaigns
oh
possible.
yeah, like
Because I could say the
One
same
Piece,
kind of things for
One
like
Piece would be
Naruto or
perfect.
like One Piece.
Like One Piece would be perfect because
thing.
My Hero
it's so many,
Academia is
it's so
really
many.
fun as a campaign setting.
Here's the one problem I have with One Piece. Um, no one has 1,000 sessions in them. Like I think that's just
You don't have to.
Oh, there's people.
Mhm.
Okay,
Kelton, have you ever watched One Piece D&D by Rustage?
Yeah, but it's not true One Piece if it ain't 1,000.
Oh, you know what? I mean, that's fair. But again, you don't need to have 1,000 sessions in a campaign to make it truly like authentic.
okay,
We're just talking about like which kind of settings like make for awesome campaigns.
okay.
And don't tell me for a second One Piece wouldn't absolutely make you want to like sail the open seas.
I watch One Piece
One
videos.
Piece would make me want to kill someone because
I'm
it's just
not
it would
caught up.
depend on how we do it. It
I'm
would
not caught
depend
up
on
with
how we do it because it's
not caught. You don't have to go one to one. You don't have to make 1,000 episodes just because
Yeah.
you can just play. You can play one session. That's
Yeah.
it.
saying even then One Piece would be hell
Play
because
one
it would
play
depend on
one
where we're doing it.
play
Like if
One
you're
Yeah,
Piece
doing
where you can
so
like
many options.
fight on your ship and you're like an anime character with like a devil fruit or something. That
You
would go hard. That
can
would go
start.
hard.
You can start in East Blue.
are we
You can
talking
start in
about like
Alabasta. You can
multiple
start in Whole.
sessions or
You can
just
start in
like
Whole.
We're talking about
Well,
we're talking about
anything.
what kind of like series would make for a great campaign, which means a multiple sessions
yeah.
like to tell
Oh
an
yeah,
entire
you're
story
right.
over the
And
course of the adventure.
Yeah,
the
you're right.
one problem I have with One Piece being a session, it's hell when you
Mm.
consider like you have 2 different oceans. You have
You don't
well,
pick
you have
everything.
4.
You don't get
But
everything.
I'm
You
saying
just
though,
do.
like
Yeah.
you have to choose a spot, and within that spot, you got to choose devil fruits. You got to
You
choose
get to
certain
choose
devil
it.
fruits. You got to. I'm
You get
saying you have
to.
to figure out
Eh,
This man
how
has
to.
character customization. This man has character customization options.
I mean,
I'm saying though,
That's one
to
like
be
problem.
fair, if you're trying to GM for a One Piece campaign, I feel like you know a lot of what you're saying and are willing to take it on. I feel
Like,
like it takes a certain kind of mind to have
mm,
when you get to like really big, expansive worlds.
Maverick,
let's
Maverick. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's say you did a One Piece campaign
yeah,
and you did it in the East Blue, whatever. It don't really matter.
yeah,
And you know Crocodile.
yeah. No crocodile.
Let's just say you had Crocodile as the main boss. You had your party traveling for a couple days by this point so that they could be ready to take on Crocodile.
Yeah,
And if they don't, like you have to give the boss like a prerequisite. I don't know if people do this. I don't really. I've only been a part of a couple, D&D campaigns, and we didn't do it. But like, you give the boss a prerequisite. If your team can't beat him by a certain amount of turns, then Crocodile can actually do something that he does in the show. Like, he can take the moisture out of your body with sand.
that
Like, you
sounds
don't
kind of
think that would
yeah.
be hell to try
Do
to
you not
get
know? Do you not know D&D
someone to
bosses?
actually beat that?
Like
I
his
know
weakness
D&D
is water.
bosses.
His weakness is water. All
His,
you
his
not do
weakness
is
is
yeah
not
water.
really like that
It's water.
obvious.
Yeah, I mean yeah, but like
Like,
that's D&D puzzles was like a main staple of the game.
with
Like you gotta
with
think
saying that his
sometimes.
weakness is the water, Crocodile still almost killed Luffy with
Yeah.
water,
So
being it like
you're
soaked in
saying
water.
the GM has to make
He
sure
can
that
take
the
the
players.
moisture away from water.
So I mean
So you have to nerf the character.
all this boils down to is that you gotta make the D&D party ready to fight the boss, and that's like any D&D game. I'm not if I'm wrong, like Silver, this isn't a big. This is that
I'm just overthinking it because like I'm
like
thinking of what Crocodile can do, and I don't
Crocodile.
think you can make a
Crocodile
team
isn't
just ready to fight Crocodile.
Crocodile isn't OP. I mean, you don't even have to start from level
Did
one,
you just say
right?
Crocodile ain't OP?
Yes, like, compared to like like if
What?
you look at how you looking to
What?
D and D, still back up with this. It's like stronger bosses in Crocodile and D&D. Like there's characters like they can just wish you to be dead.
Maverick.
Anyways,
I don't care what you say in a D&D campaign. Crocodile in One Piece can take the moisture away from your body and kill you.
Yes, well, like there's like stuff in
You're
D&D that
saying that you're
yes, like
saying that
this.
there are things in D&D that can counter that. Okay.
Yes, yeah,
My
there
fault.
are.
My fault. You just smart. You smart as hell. My fault.
I'm not I'm not trying to say Crocodile isn't strong. I'm just like there's a lot of strong
No,
bosses
no,
in
it's my
D&D.
fault. I'm retarded. My fault.
Oh, I thought you.
anyway,
I came out the anus.
Okay, okay. Can you explain to me who? I mean, not say who's right, but like, how hard would it be to put Crocodile into a D&D campaign?
oh dear lord,
Let's just go next. What's
yeah,
next?
I'll be real
No,
with
no,
you.
no.
I'll be real with you. That asking that question's a tall order.
Uh,
Well, look, here's the problem with like D&D and how you like and people have said this when it comes to like building a character for it too. The problem with trying to make anime characters is you might as well give them like a maxed out stat for all six of them
I see.
because way too many like anime like protagonists are unrealistically like good in every single one of those things.
Oh
Most of them
yeah,
are incredibly strong, like they're very fast, they're very tough, they're usually pretty smart at least when it comes to fighting. They have a good
It would
sense of the world around them, and some of them are actually very charismatic.
yeah.
So when you start putting the anime villains in here who are gonna be overpowered from the jump, you get some problems there.
You know,
I'm not
put
saying that
over
you
making no
can't have
sense.
Croc. I think Croc could be a final boss for a campaign because by that
Oh,
time you've
absolutely.
you've
Oh,
you've
absolutely.
scaled. The thing
Wait,
is, Croc definitely cannot be an early game character if you're trying to stick to him true to the lore of
But
D and
but
D,
but then again, Silver,
and
you
that's
don't
what
you
that's what he is for
don't you
Luffy.
don't you
Crocodile
don't
is an early game boss for Luffy.
you don't start at level 1 for the characters, right? And also you don't have to play as Luffy in the crew. You make your own new characters, right?
Like
Silver?
again, I'm gonna, as long as we're gonna keep talking about like D&D and One Piece, I'm gonna keep referring back to the thing I told you about earlier. They literally made their own. It was in the One Piece setting, but they clearly made their own adventure.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there's barely any reference to like major like villains and figures from like actual One Piece.
Oh
They
yeah,
have
that's
their
kind of what
thing,
that's kind of what I would
but
want.
they
Yeah.
but then they also have like power systems in there like hockey and like
Yeah.
the devil fruits.
Like imagine
I do like. I love the
imagine
characters that Rust has made. They have a lot
Yeah,
of cool characters for that
like
campaign.
imagine you gave your
they
characters
do.
like hockey so like Crocodile isn't meant to be like a major threat in this campaign, so he wouldn't be because they have hockey.
You
He wouldn't
still
be as much
couldn't
of a
do
threat.
that.
If
How
anyone's
come?
still
Hockey.
listening to us at this
If you
point,
would,
go watch One Piece D&D. It is good.
if you was
Not
to, if
sponsored,
you was, because that's changing the way that it works completely at that
Wait,
but
what do you
point.
mean? Wait, what do you mean? Not,
Because
oh, we're not
hockey.
saying the
No,
anime.
if
We're not trying to say the
no,
it's
campaign
not
I'm
is
a good
based
saying like
on the
if
story.
you
We're
was to
saying
give, if you was to give someone hockey, let's just say I'm a level 5 character. I just learned hockey as a warrior monk. Let's say that,
yeah, yeah.
and we're going to fight the next boss who isn't Crocodile. Let's just say he's random guy McGee, and he doesn't have hockey.
yeah.
Like that's an imbalanced fight because
Oh yeah, yeah.
hockey.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, you don't have to write the story. I mean, the gym can write around that. Like the next guy could be somebody who has hockey.
Yeah, but that's just because you don't want to give someone a boss fight that you can do in like 15 minutes. The whole point of D&D is to make it grand, a
Yeah,
fantasy.
yeah. So
And
like,
if you
Right.
have an
what if you put?
overpowered ability, like it's the same as Smite. Like when we had Smite, when we did the vampire campaign, it was a broken ability, but it wasn't something that you could just one shot the boss and get along with
Okay,
your day. Like you
so
still
what?
had
So
fight in the campaign.
yeah, I guess both then gets boils down to like what are the enemies in your game and how strong the character needs to be to beat them.
Yeah.
Because like
Well,
imagine Crocodile's like an early start villain, like he's not actually supposed to be like a final boss. So you get the characters with hockey, and then opponents they fight after that, or also have hockey, so it's not a problem. If the characters aren't strong to fight Crocodile, and they can't figure out his weakness, then it's terrible. But like you just need to match the characters
I
up
think
to properly. Yeah.
I think it's just the way that Rustage and crew did it. You just got to build everything from the ground up.
Yeah, yeah, it's different.
right.
It's about your imagination. But like, let's move on to another. Oh yeah, oh,
But
yeah. To give it some.
I did
I
want to
had an
say.
idea. I had an
I did
idea
want to
for like
say.
what?
What would be an amazing, cool campaign besides Cyberpunk if you wanted to keep it like older? Elden Ring or any of the Souls likes, really.
I mean, to be
Yeah,
fair, that kind of belongs to a genre of video games that were already traced their lineage back to
yeah,
To
D&D.
D&D.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I think those translate pretty well if you're willing to put the work in.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
specifically, like doing 3 maybe and fighting like the Nameless King, that would be amazing. Or Guinevere. Is it Guinevere?
I think so.
Not it's n- no,
It's not.
no. Guinevere was from the first Dark Souls.
Oh man, that's way off. Then was it? Was it? Was it? What is he
It was
talking about?
The
Then?
really
and
you it's a really hot lady you never like encounter until halfway through the game.
I thought that was fucking
Mm,
three.
yeah.
I didn't
Well,
get there.
I,
But it has
so I don't know. I was gonna say, but go ahead. What you were gonna say, and I'll bring up something after
I was
that.
gonna
Silver.
f- I was gonna I was gonna follow up what we had been talking about before with an extra question that I think we would have like stuff to bring up over. We talked about like what type of settings and a little bit of what makes those settings like good for like running like a campaign. I think it would be worth it to like discuss like what would make a setting bad for one.
Hmm.
I
Because
think an overcomplicated setting is horrible. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
I
Yeah,
think
maybe.
a setting like how One Piece is structured, island, like the very island specific thing is horrible.
I don't know. I
I
find
think
that
it,
interesting.
I don't
Wait,
I
wait,
think
really.
it'd
what?
be.
Yeah, because you
You
just
have
got so much selection to pick from.
it's
I
not
just
as
got more.
simple as because it's not as
I don't
simple as
know.
just
I don't
going
know.
to an
Man,
island.
when I was
Like you need
doing
a
when I was
compass to get to the
doing
island. You have to go to an island to find the compass. You got to
you
deal with.
you
Like, it's a
you'd be
lot of
surprised. You'd be surprised how
it's a lot
simple stuff is when we really look into it. 'Cause
what it
I was
is.
looking into
The
when you
Kraken,
look into a
the
series,
fairy monsters.
you'd be like, oh, Fairy Tale has a bunch of magic, and then you look at it, it's like, oh wait, it's like, oh, 32 types of magic. Oh, okay. Let me try to be different. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I can't. I don't know.
yeah,
You'd be surprised about how simple. Oh, like, oh, they have the town Fairy, and you're like, oh, that's one place, and they have this other town called something else. And you look at the details about the town, like, oh, there's no details about the town.
yeah. They genuinely like say like that's the thing about fairy tale. It's not even necessarily the magic to me. It's the fact that they genuinely say nothing about
Yeah,
the places that these things inhabit.
yeah,
Like
like,
like if there were more to it, if there were more to the like the settings themselves, I wouldn't be making this like argument, but like where exactly like not a question as like asinine as like where does fairy tale take place, but like genuinely what is the place the guild like lives around actually like?
yeah. I mean, yeah, you just gotta make a lot of assumptions. Like, it's
It
like
like
also,
But
I
then
was gonna say, like, what time period is Fairy Tale? Because like, that's an even better question. I think we talked about this before, maybe in a podcast. Like,
okay.
it's hard to tell what time period. It's like,
Ubiquitous.
is this
It's
like the not?
technologically advanced enough that houses that you rent have their own like actual bathroom complete with like a porcelain tub.
Yeah,
We
but you
know
don't
that
see.
much.
But there are
But
also no
also
TVs.
there are no like
Now that
yeah,
I
you're
think about
right.
it, there are a lot of amazing anime that sort of have horrible or like subpar world bit like
Yeah,
Naruto.
I would.
You
It's
wouldn't
yeah.
think of
Thing is like so well.
Oh,
It's just like there's enough. There's
I,
okay. Naruto. There's a glaring plot. Not plot hole. There's a glaring like gap in our information of like what is it like for normal civilians and because the ninja villages
yeah,
ninja world that's a small part of Naruto.
yeah.
Majority of the place in
If
Naruto
you're
is not ninjas.
if you're making a if you're and any aspiring like GMs who want to create their own setting can take notes from this too. If you're trying to like develop your own setting, you kind of want to at least have enough of a like idea of like the basic level is because they kind of fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons, its power fantasy is kind of from 1 to 20, it's you rising from like mediocrity into becoming a legend, right? That
Yeah,
like everyone starts extremely like small. Like most people can't take more than like a couple hits from an enemy monster. But you eventually get to the point where you're able to like throw hands briefly with gods.
yeah,
Like mechanically. But
hmm
if you don't have enough of a society put together in your setting that that you aren't completely certain how a level 1 character can interact with it, you don't have a setting.
yeah.
If
So you
what's
mentioned a
actually
problem with. Oh wait, go ahead. Go ahead. Evil.
is crazy to me. My hero is actually that amazing. Like you have Deku who starts level 1 and he progressively levels up through the show while learning different quirks and fighting more until he gets to like in game level. I
yeah,
just
but
talk
like
about that.
you but like since you kind of have a modern setting and the show explains how quirks like work well enough, you're able to like get a gist for what someone who doesn't have a quirk, what their life is like.
Yeah.
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 And
Okay.
yeah, and if someone has just like a quirk not strong enough to become like a superhero, you kind of get the feel of what they're able to do in society. So I would say that's still a good setting
Yeah.
for a
Okay.
campaign.
Okay. I think one issue, like you mentioned, like what are some things that make for a bad setting is like this is kind of weird, but like a setting where like powers are limited to a select few of people. Like imagine like some kind of Super Sentai type show. Like there's only like 5 Power Rangers in the whole world. Like that would make for a bad setting because then it's like, oh, so like if you were trying to make characters, they would have to be one of those 5, unless you make up a new scenario for there to be an extra Power Ranger, 6 Power Ranger, if you will. And so, like
I I
something like that where the powers are very limited to a select few people in verse would make for a hard setting.
I think
okay, now that you're saying
the
that,
basis of Power Rangers, like I know this might seem crazy, but the basis of Power Rangers is pretty much everyone else is a normal civilian who's
Yeah,
living their lives, while these, six, I think the original,
5.
I think it's no, it's six. But
No,
you
no,
have
6 Power Ranger. That's a trope. Like the is 5 originally. White Ranger. He's an extra. Yeah, he's an extra.
Green Ranger, not the White Ranger, the Green Ranger. So it's six. Uh,
So no, 5. I mean, like 5. They have 5 at the start, right?
and
Silver
it's
does.
five.
There's
now
5
that
at the
you
start.
That's it's six in
there,
total. It's only six that can actually
yeah, right,
fight. That's
right.
what I'm saying.
I-
You have
Wait,
Evil is right.
these
wait, wait, wait,
Evil
wait,
is,
wait, wait, wait. What do you mean? Like they like 6? I mean, yeah. By the end of the show,
but
yeah, there's 6
and
total in the original. But I'm saying like originally when they first started the Power Rangers, they have 5
I
people.
I do want to like slightly argue your point, Maverick, because I think it's a little more complicated than what you were saying.
Wait.
Because I want to use an example of a game that I've played in, yeah, and like talk about like some of its world building to
Yeah,
see if, because I think it's a good setting, but at the same time it does have some of the things you say would make it bad,
yeah,
because it revolves around the idea of a specific group of like chosen heroes, which
yeah,
means technically anyone can become like, you know, super strong, but these guys particularly are just always going to be capital B better, if
yeah.
that makes sense.
And
Like,
like unless
and
yeah,
you
go
were
ahead.
so
saying that would make a
like
setting just kind of tank, because then there's just like a lot of power just kind of gets like held up by these specific characters. But
see,
the reason I want to argue that is because I don't think that the that uh that's necessarily a bad thing. It just changes the story you want to tell.
the
Yeah,
Because
thing.
like we've had like, sure, we've been we might play as those characters, but I can tell you we've almost died multiple times. We are not invincible.
hmm
I
yeah.
think
I was just
the
thinking like if you want to be in the same verse as the characters, like there's not a lot of stories do that because usually they have a whole power system, but it's usually stuff like in Power Rangers or where there's like a few
Yeah.
choice ones. Like
I,
I'm thinking like something like Star Wars. Star Wars is a good example where like yeah, unless well nowadays maybe not, but like in the beginning of Star Wars, Luke is like one of the only Jedi alive. So it's like unless you make up your own
it's sort of
Jedi,
like
you got like you can't. There's not a lot you can play with unless you want to just like oh yeah, there's a new Jedi, new cast of Jedi, or first sensitive people that are in this race, and you can do that. I just think
well,
that I was
the
you can
changes to Star Wars lore like make the setting a little more accessible to playing an
yeah.
RPG in it.
Yeah, you basically got to make it
Well,
more accessible. If they say like, "Oh, you Lucas or this character is the only person with powers," or "These three people only want powers,"
yeah,
you basically got to be like, unless you want to change it so to your characters or those characters, you got to make it so
like
like, oh
like
yeah,
you can
there's
have
more people, yeah,
I
with
see what you're
powers.
saying. It's
have
like
they ever
it doesn't
said
matter if there's like a chosen one plot, as long as there are still like the average person can at least partially catch up to that power level, so that the like quote unquote chosen ones always have like something new to encounter,
Yeah.
something new to fight if they have to fight. If they want to avoid it, they can.
Or even have those
But
or have those
if
powers in the first place.
wasn't the
Yeah,
last Jedi, was it?
huh? Luke, I mean Luke,
That's
yeah, at
pretty
the start, he's like the last, he's like one of the last Jedi. I mean,
That's my shit.
along with Ben, like I mean, Obi-Wan is like the one who teaches him, so he's also a Jedi. But like,
Well,
besides him, yeah,
no,
and Yoda,
it was
too.
Luke because Ben, dies before Luke ever becomes a proper Jedi.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
broke.
yeah. And then
Foreshadowing.
Yoda was also there too, but he was very old. But
I
like, yeah,
think I,
Luke at some point Luke becomes the last
I
Jedi.
think in the concept of a I think in the concept of like a high fantasy like system like D&D, I think another thing that would make a setting like bad for a campaign is if it just fundamentally does not work,
Mhm.
with some of the with the mechanics of the system it's playing.
Well, yeah, you're right,
Uh
you're right.
as in like as in you can't do a slice of life anime out of D&D. Like you can do a slice of life type of adventure with that system, but you're gonna have to accept there's magic, and
Mhm.
someone is going to want to use magic probably.
Yeah,
But you can't tell people you want to play D&D and then say, oh, no magic. That's
yeah,
like a
because then it,
fundamental part of the system, and if your setting doesn't account for magic, you can't use it.
yeah. When we be between three at that point.
Yeah, it's like at that point, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but like, how do you feel about homebrew
I
like
think you can
games
substitute it.
that like substitute different parts? Like
I
in
think
One Piece, you
you
have
can
to substitute some stuff. Like,
definitely substitute magic for something though. Like
As
even
I
if you
think as
didn't
long as
want
you
to have magic inside the game, I think you could
all right,
I
decently
th-
substitute it with something else.
yeah, I I think at again, I think at that point you may just be thinking to try a completely different system, even if you have to make one up in the case of One Piece. But to be fair, we have a very specific like live play that we've watched that makes it very clear that D&D magic can function in the One Piece like setting. It's just a matter of like how you flavor it. Like you could you could play a straight up wizard in like a My Hero campaign, is
You
as
could
long as you can justify like the spells you're casting.
the quirk, yeah.
Yeah, if your quirk lets you do all of these, like, is versatile enough that you can do all these weird things. Like, if,
Like
if you if you were able to like fly or something, right? But
yeah.
like, what if your quirk was you're literally like Magneto from the X-Men? That's like, then you can justify the flying thing of being like, well, I'm wearing metal on my body, so I'm actually lifting that and it lifts me. And suddenly
But like
being a wizard works in a modern low magic but like superhero campaign.
mm,
It
let's
works.
say let's
I
say
was
you
going.
were let's say you had a Chaco's quirk, grabbed it.
Yeah.
So how would you do that as a DM? Like if let's say you wanted to float,
Yeah,
would that
not
be
to
magic?
not to inject, but
Well,
I would probably make it action too. I would probably make it a list of
there are
actions.
multiple there are
No
multiple
one asked
there
that.
are multiple spells to reflect different tiers of this ability, by the way.
Yeah.
You've got the levitate spell, which doesn't really like let you go up and down a whole lot, but you get the hover ability.
Mm,
From the start of the anime when Ochako like slaps Izuku as he's like falling from the sky and he's able to not fall to his death because of it,
Yeah.
like levitate. Uh, as far as like some of the stunts she pulls, some of the like feats, like some of the spells like jump or fly, like or things like that. There's plenty of movement like
yeah.
spells that can justify her like quirk
Oh,
because hers is
this.
just so flexible you can pull that off. I
Yeah.
don't think you could really get away with like necessarily like being a magic user if your quirk is that your head is a cactus.
Hmm.
This brings up a lot of questions because, like, it's like, how much do you home brew if you're gonna make for anime? Would you like try to change
It's
the whole system, like a bunch of the
it's gen
system, where you just like fit? You try and do it as least changing as possible to make it fit.
well,
How would you
it's
go approach it?
I think it's
well,
very dependent upon the anime that you're trying to home or
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
make.
exactly.
yes,
But still, like,
yes.
how far would you
Let's
go?
say it's literally just how many hours do you want to put in? Like
Yeah,
you'd
it
have
is.
It really is. And if you're a lazy GM when it comes to like homebrewing together stuff, you just want to play the game. Dang it. Uh, I don't think you need to spend a whole lot of time in making new material. If you can look at what you already know you have, and they're just like, I can reflavor this again.
like don't
You can
Yeah,
use a bunch of magic in like a My Hero inspired campaign just because you can fashion people's superpowers under the magic use.
yeah, you're right.
Uh
So like something like I was gonna say, Overlord would be good as a
oh,
campaign setting.
Overlord is like basically like a guy is trapped within a video game that's based on fantasy. Yes,
Yeah.
there's high magic there. That lends itself incredibly
Oh,
easily
not
to
just
like
fantasy. It's especially based on D&D because there's like karma and everything and stuff and based like D&D spells like straight up just lift it into Overlord and
yes.
just another way.
Yeah.
the only thing that you would have to worry about with stuff like Overlord or Danmachi or fantasy anime, it would
Like, I mean,
be
if these you're a little bit low. You're a little bit low. Is
You're
right?
very low.
Yeah.
My turn down. My fault.
Oh,
Uh,
you
the only thing that you would worry about with something like Danmachi or Overlord, it would be the scaling of certain abilities.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
Like,
that's
well,
fair. That's fully for
I'm,
everything. You just got to scale. You got to scale
I'm willing
properly.
to
like,
I'm willing to
like,
ignore power scaling when translating anime to D&D
Yeah. You just really.
as long as
Yeah.
like people are still able to have fun with it.
You just not
Like
you can't be a power scaler. You can't care too much. Like, oh, this
I don't
character
know,
should do that.
man. If I'm level
I just
5, I shouldn't be able to use unlimited blade works in a fate campaign. Like
Depends what levels of mean in that setting, I guess.
hey, look,
unlimited blade work.
it's
like
okay.
I'm just level
It's
5
okay.
fighting a boss. I am the
Okay,
bone of my sword. Like,
but
bro.
It's
you
okay
you got a
if your
point. You got a
Dragon
point.
Ball campaign doesn't end with your party blowing the planet up. That's
Yeah,
fine.
you got a point. You got a point. But it's just like just don't make your character level 5. Just make them level 15 or something. You know what I'm saying? Just don't make them level 5.
But yeah,
It's still like the scaling of that ability though. Like unlimited blade works would be a level 3 spell slot. Oh, like easily. Or if there's a
Really?
special slot for a spell. Yes,
Like,
unlimited blade works. It literally not carves out space, but it puts you to.
no. I'm saying it would be harder than that. I think it would be harder than level 3. Level 3 is not
Oh,
gonna.
okay, yeah, like whatever the highest tier holy magic. I don't know.
I mean, it's
Whatever the
gonna go.
highest tier of magic is.
Does it go up all the way to level 9 or 10? I think. Yeah, level.
the highest like D&D spell levels are level 9.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
level nine.
It'll be.
Not spell.
I think it'd
I
be
don't
level
know.
8. I think it'd be level 8 or 7.
No, definitely be a level 9 spell.
No, because level 9 is like wish
It
and stuff
gives
like
you
that.
because, huh?
Like level 9 stuff like wish and other stuff that's on that level. It wouldn't be level 9. Blade
It,
works is strong, but
it
it's not
essentially puts you in a position where you will win. You go
like
to an alternate dimension
no.
and
Gate of Battle.
you have
That's
like you have every sword that you fought with in the past.
you know what? I give it to you. It would be level 9. It's that it has the potential to be level 9. It really it does. Yeah.
Because if you're doing this, let's say it was in an actual D&D story, you're probably someone that was that specializes in swordplay, because that's what
Yeah,
uh the main thing
this is
is.
making one a fake campaign. I'm thinking like all most pretty much most no phantoms will be level 9, like a scowl level 9, a gay battle on level 9.
Like
All these would be level
you
9s.
would be you'd literally be juiced out of your mind with that spell.
This
Like
would have be this would have be an epic campaign. Everybody's over level 20.
Uh
Yeah, but also I wanted. Oh, this is what I wanted to say next. Like, so just to give some, just to give some structure. What do you think will have the what do you think have the best like items? What anime will have the best items? What will have the best spells? And what will have the best character customization, like character races? I mean, like what
Character.
you think would be?
Okay. If
Yeah,
we're if
Best
we're
like a,
items, best spells.
yeah, best items, best spells, and best races. Like which
okay,
one
so
for each?
those three pieces. I'll be real with you. Uh, I'll be real with you. I think I think that Dragon Ball might take the cake for like some of the best races, just
Mm-hmm.
because like the new ones that would be introduced are just so radically different from each other.
Someone like
Okay, for me,
Mora.
Do what?
will you make
Someone
more
like
a whole?
Mora.
Will you make that whole
I'm
race though? That's a carrot. Well, they did it with Frieza,
you're
but then
talking
there was
about
like
like which setting would add like
No, I'm talking
would
about like
have
what like the race thing that you were just saying. The
yeah races. Yeah,
races that they
like
add later, and I was asking you like Mora.
yeah. With more
I mean,
counts
yeah,
race
you
in
could.
your
I
opinion,
mean, you could say that, but like, even
you
look
could
at
do
like
that.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse and
Like
realize like
a
how
Frieza clan.
completely unlike each other every race in that game plays.
They are very
Now
different.
realize that that's exactly what would happen in a tabletop game too.
Yeah, yeah. You have a point. That's a
You
W
have
pick.
you have like you've got the Namekians who don't need to eat and can genuinely like allow themselves to just get really grow several sizes larger than they are supposed to be.
You make items. They have create
Uh,
items. You make that. They can make
I
that spell they get automatically or something like that.
Okay, wait. I don't think this would be a good thing necessarily for races, but in terms of character customization, Jujutsu Kaisen would actually be really cool.
You can make that for spells. Yeah, spells. That'd be good for spells. Yeah,
I
they are
like
the best
the I
spells.
like the I'm saying specifically the way demons look are never the same. Like if you had a party member or a couple
Oh,
that were demons,
so
like
you're looking from
demons
different.
in JJK or like
That's an interesting angle to
it's
look
just
at. What
like
I
the way
said.
demons look.
Monster races. That's something. Monster races are a thing. Yeah,
yeah.
you're looking for a different angle than I think. I was thinking about character like player races, but yeah, monster
No, that's
races.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
talking about. Like with
Something
the
I was
ability
looking
to
for.
actually be a demon, like as a character, as a player
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Oh, a curse?
I'm, we're gonna.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, you could make a curse as a character. I mean, there's nothing stopping a D&D campaign about like a
We're
curse that
talking
wants
about
to.
like adding new monsters. If we're talking about like adding new monsters and stuff, this goes heavily away from anime. But I think you get some really like fascinating like ideas. Like if you like scratched from like scratch from like the different seasons of Doctor Who.
I haven't watched Doctor Who.
I know a bit about Doctor Who, but nah, like 1%, maybe not even 1%.
I'm not an
I'll be joking.
aficionado, but I do know
Honestly,
that they have some like they do have some monsters in there who are scary not because like they're just like big and ugly, but because like the idea of them is just insane.
Yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
Like
love.
I'm sure anyone who's
For
vaguely heard of the
items,
show has heard of like the
Daleks.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's like
The,
the one episode with like the crying angel statues that whenever you can't see them,
Oh,
they
I know
come
what you're
close.
talking about. Yeah.
That like
I never seen
t
that.
t like tell me like your character like faces away from them, and then the next time you look, they're right in your face
Oh, there was
as
something
a
like that
monster.
in the and
That is
there was something like that in
that
the newest like Five Nights at Freddy game, Security Breach. They had these robots that would like follow you if you didn't look at them.
Well,
yeah
Security Breach sucked. So
Uh,
yeah that see you're getting it you're getting it.
you
anyway, what I
didn't.
was gonna say for best items, I would say Bleach. Right? Come on, Bleach would have the
No,
best.
no.
The Zanpakuto.
Items for me, I don't know, but items in Bleach just don't look interesting. They look.
What you don't like Bunkai? You don't like? Okay,
It's the
I don't.
Bunkai isn't an item. That's more so a spell.
No. Items like these are like these could be the swords you can pick from.
Oh no, the
You
Zunpat
don't.
toes are cool, but they're
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Like
That changes a lot.
there's no except like I would choose the weapons from Fate more than bet over
I can't
Zunpat
get.
toes.
I can't just keep on gushing over fate, man. We just did it.
Danmachi. I think Danmachi has much cooler weapons
Name one.
than Bell's sword, the unicorn sword that Bell gets from
I said name them, not
Wolf.
tell them, not describe them. I can name swords from Bleach. Zangetsu, Zenbone Zakura.
All of them. So actually, I will say that the one cool sword from Bleach is what's his name?
Sugetsu.
What's his name?
Zabimaru.
Zabimaru. That's the one.
Urimaru.
The isn't Zabimaru the one that can turn into like the
Yeah, it can like split
red?
into
He has the red fur.
like that. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
But
Zabimaru is the only cool sword.
I'm just saying, like I can name a few from Danmachi. Like maybe I don't know if I can name a few. I can name one. I named the Hestia knife. That's the only weapon I know. The Hestia knife. And there's also
Yeah, but this isn't necessarily about that knowing the names of the damn items. It's about how they look or their use.
yeah,
And
but they don't. But like
Danmachi's weapons have a lot more use.
they all do the same thing though. Like I mean, most of the time they all do the same thing.
How are we doing this? We're doing this
Like
on usefulness to like a standard
I mean,
D&D
more like
character or what?
like variety. Like okay, the Hestia knife. It's a strong weapon
Variety.
that adapts to the user as they get stronger. And that's pretty cool. You know, the
But you don't
unicorn knife.
even look at the Zanpakutos. I mean, some people do. You're weird, but some people do. And like
What?
that's cool and all. They just like pay close attention to the Zanpakutos.
I
Like
mean, they
there's nothing wrong with it,
just look
but they
just look at
all
Zomba.
just don't
They
look
do.
the same. They all look the same to me.
Wait. Zangetsu looks like Zabimaru. The whip sword looks like the whip knife.
Zabimaru again is the only one that I really like.
What about Zenban Zaku, the one that splits into the
Actually,
flower
the
color?
one that the
That looks
bald
that
dude has, Ikaku. Ikaku has a cool one too.
he has a
Actually,
he has a
no,
Naginata.
Ikaku's second form is cool. If we're talking about the second stage of the weapons, then you would have Bleach. The
I'm
second stage of
talking
the
about
weapons look a lot
I'm talking
cooler.
about I'm talking about the whole thing, man. I'm talking about the base form, the
Well then, yeah.
Shikai.
Well then, yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, okay. I was like, what is he talking?
The base form of the weapons just don't look good to me. It's just a sword. Not to say that they don't look good. It's just
Yeah,
they all look the same to me.
yeah,
But the
they have
second form of weapons actually do look cool.
yeah, they have like two releases. They have like the Shikai, which is like the first release, and the second one, which is usually a lot more impressive, grandiose. Like what's the I'm trying to think. It's like Ryojin Jakai, which is like a giant mass of flames. Like they're very different from each other. So that'd be
Demon
cool.
Slayer has immensely cool weapons.
Yeah, they do look cool, but like as I said before, they don't really have a lot of variety to them in terms of power.
They do. You said in terms of power. I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of like the sword that you get kind of determines your style of fighting. Like, um, not Suigetsu. What's his name?
Um, you talking about Zenitsu?
No, Tanjiro is like big brother. Not big brother. Pupil
I
student.
mean, you're
Brother
talking
student.
Giyu. Giyu.
Ryu
Fellow
and
student.
Tanjiro have very similar swords, and they both use water style. Zabimaru has a completely different looking weapon, and he uses lightning. His sword looks cool. Inosuke doesn't even use a specific breathing technique, really, and his sword
Yeah, I
looks
mean,
amazing.
he has a
Like
technique.
all of their weapons are
He has
so
beast.
he has
So
beast breathing, but
so
like
basically
all of their
you have to make.
weapons are so unique and cool.
I really give you a point for Beast Burden because like his swords are kind of needed for his style because like it's all about slashing and cupping and ripping into your opponent. So those jagged edges he has are kind of intrinsic to the style, but others are just different colors most of the time. Except for Tengen. Tengen's weapon's actually pretty unique and like he has whips and then I think there's bombs inside of his swords and stuff. Like that is actually a pretty unique weapon. There's also there is unique weapons in Demon Slayer. I think that would make for a good companion actually. There'll just be a bunch of fires. Like everybody's a fighter though, unless you were like a demon
See,
or something.
see,
Which anime are
Demon
you
Slayer.
bringing up?
Demon
Demon
Slayer.
Slayer. I was saying it'd be
Okay,
a good for
sorry, I got a
campaign.
little mixed up in the conversation.
So we
It's
were all
funny.
over the
It's
place.
funny you mentioned that. I have like when I peruse stuff going around, I have like seen a completely like separate from D&D like rule set if you wanted to play an RPG that was just plain Demon Slayer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'd be pretty like you just
So,
get a bunch of fighters and thieves and stuff
is
like
what?
that. You want,
Which honestly, try like try multiple systems, even if whether they're good or not. You'll never know
yeah,
until you try.
yeah.
And
But like
that
us,
one you would
yeah.
never you wouldn't have to make everybody like you wouldn't have to play D&D and like make everyone the same class unless that's your gimmick.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to bring this back, but I just realized I broke my rule years ago.
What, watching two
What?
scenes instead of a bat guy?
Because Kill I Kill is an etchy, and I want
Oh,
Kill I Kill, and I
man,
love Kill I Kill.
it was made by Studio Trigger. I think get a pass on that. It looks amazing. Animation one.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love Kill
animation
I
wise.
Kill. Yeah, Kill I
Yeah.
Kill is the best. But
That,
that's
that
crazy.
show is
Also, yeah.
absolutely insane.
That okay. That's a good example. I don't think Kill Kill made for a good D&D campaign. I don't see how you can do that.
You brought that back, sir. You brought that back.
Yeah. I was
Okay,
thinking like the
okay.
special chosen ones. I was thinking like Riruka and her sister. Ryoko, I think.
No,
What's
you
her name
know
again?
what? You
See,
know
the thing
what?
is, Kill I Kill would, but you would have to
Okay,
bring more aliens, because that's what the scissors
okay.
are. I'm pretty sure aliens.
Okay, here's the thing about that. I agree with I agree with Drake on this. And here's why. Uh as like the show kind of largely boils down to like anime people like beating and or cutting the crap out of each other, but their power level is kind of defined by the type of clothes they wear, and the closer you are to none, the stronger you are a lot at times.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I'm heavily just gisting this.
Besides
This
that,
is
there's only one setting too.
but
Like
but
there's just a school.
The
the
only
point being,
thing,
you would need an entire you do need genuinely an entire system dedicated to whatever Kill la Kill's doing. And I guess that means that by that logic, since it doesn't really operate well with like, you know, traditional like RPG formats, that I guess that Maverick is right about this. And by extension, that may or may not mean Demon Slayer is too.
no.
No,
I
you just make
I
everybody
think
fiery and Demon Slayer. There's like enough, like the characters in what do you call it, Kill la Kill don't get their powers from their abilities. They get their powers from their clothes they wear. So basically, a system that is completely dependent on what items you have. And you also
Yeah,
have to make up
but
new. You have
again,
to make, never
but
mind.
like
You
that,
really wouldn't.
but like that show is very much like it would not work with traditional magic.
Yeah, yeah.
there pretty much is no magic, so you
And also,
Yeah,
couldn't. You'd have
yeah,
to
yeah.
I
exclude
think
magic completely.
So Maverick's right.
I think the,
It
yeah.
wouldn't be a good setting to run a D&D campaign in.
I mean,
I
you
think
don't.
you could. I think you could make Demon Slayer work if you consider the
There is no magic. Well, except for
techniques.
the demons.
If you
Except
consider
demons
the
do have
techniques
magic.
as special move, like if you wanted to do, because the techniques can easily be classified as magic,
No,
even
I
though
mean,
it's not necessarily magic, but
okay,
it
okay.
requires a breathing form to do.
Okay, this might be a hot take, but I don't think you need to have magic in a setting as long as there's nothing that like demons like they're not using any special supernatural
The thing
abilities
is,
besides like
it's called
Well,
D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. The
here's the thing.
dragon part is very hard to do without magic.
I mean
You could.
not really I mean if you have the dragon doesn't use
You're
magic
beating a
unless they
dragon without magic, so you're
Yes,
beating a
yes,
dragon without magic.
you might be if you're a
yes.
fighter, yes. If you're a fighter, yeah. Yeah, but like what I'm saying is like if they're not using powers that are like magic, you don't need magic. You don't need them to have magic
Well,
like in
well,
Demon Slayer.
here's the thing. Like, anime pulls off like incredible feats of like power that are borderline magic in and of themselves. But like
Yeah, you're right.
so frequently they can at least hide behind their own like narrative like magic system to justify it.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
kind of like soul energy of Bleach.
yeah,
Uh,
but no,
like
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 specifically
ki or chakra
specifically Demon Slayer doesn't
or
have
anything
any
from One
power
Piece,
system
honestly.
like it has breathing techniques, but
Men from
they never
Hunter x
use
Hunter.
they don't use elemental techniques. It's like they don't like hover in the air. They don't like use psychic energy. They are just moving and hitting people really
Here's
fast and
the
stuff.
thing. Here's the thing. Magic isn't just range spells. The reason the reason I will consider, okay, Parker, see if you, damn, Silver Tiger, see if you agree with me on this or not. The reason I would consider spells or the moves from Demon Slayer spells, because these are not moves that everyone can learn. Even people with the same technique can have different moves than someone with the same technique.
Isn't that just martial arts?
Tomioka is no,
Like, not
because it's not
everybody can learn.
something that it's not
Not
something
everybody.
that even just a martial artist can learn. Like magic is what? Well, yeah, kind of. That's what magic is.
Well, the thing
That's what magic is.
Okay, my point
again,
is you don't need
Demon
magic
Slayer
spell. You don't need
wouldn't
you
be
don't
like
you don't need spells.
suitable
You don't need spells
for like
for like D&D. I mean, I'm not saying like you don't need them to have magic for a D&D campaign. You just have a D&D campaign without magic, and that would
okay.
be fine. As long as they're not doing anything magical. If they're shooting
Are we just gonna
fireballs,
keep
yes.
arguing about whether Demon Slayer like works in a D&D campaign for the rest of the episode?
It should be over.
No,
This has been over an hour, almost 2. It has been 2 hours.
yeah. I'll just
Because
say
like,
like okay.
Been
So
ranting.
because
I
like this
don't
is
think.
like I feel like this is like it feels like the third or fourth time we've looped back around to like Demon Slayer specifically.
We don't think I think
Just
we only been talking
him.
about Demon Slayer for
He
5 minutes.
gets on a rant. He gets on a rant and he just starts talking over people. Like, come on, bro.
Wait,
That
what?
is not what I was going for.
Okay,
Anyways,
what was it? What was that? What I was saying?
anyways,
I
the
think
point of
the
Hey,
main
he's still
point
doing it.
is
He's still doing it.
I think the main point is whether a campaign can have magic. Does D&D campaign need magic? I'm not. I would say it
I
doesn't,
think
but y'all can.
look,
You can
look,
say.
yeah, a campaign say should be able to comply to the system you want to run. If
So you okay?
if you want to play D&D, you need to be able to justify magic because
I see.
that's a integral piece of the system and it's not the same system without it.
Okay, all right. Okay, so with something
Also,
like me,
Silver
I think
Tiger.
I might.
Wait. Silver Tiger, you never said if you agreed with me on the Demon Slayer arts is magic.
Demon Slayer like arts as magic. If we're
Blood
talking
Demon Hearts.
it like I
Yeah, it's
mean it
definitely
is
magic, right?
it's its own magic system, but the problem with it is that it's again completely like in it doesn't line up with like much of anything that you get from like D&D. Like there are
It will
some
be its
spells
own
that
unique
match
system.
up, but
Okay.
like you would need a new system for like for like for the for like the breathing arts to
Yeah.
justify being able to play in that setting.
Okay. Okay. So okay, I don't know. Not to be a dead horse here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I have to do it. Couldn't you have a
Yep.
Demon Slayer campaign
See,
with just
you're
a
the
bunch of
reason this podcast is taking so long.
Bro, chill.
okay,
No,
okay,
let him talk.
okay. I've had Parker on. Okay, I have Silver talking on it finally. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Okay, couldn't you have a Demon Slayer campaign where they all just fighters and like they have like special fighter abilities? Like, could that not work? I don't know. It's just
Have you
like,
actually already?
If
huh?
you could flavor it, and the only reason that I say you could flavor it is because of do y'all remember like the statement regarding like the breathing styles being like basically like they're just like animation like exaggerations of actual
Yeah.
Yeah,
techniques like
yeah,
physical
yeah,
effects aren't actually happening.
yeah.
If you went that direction and said like just a no magic D&D campaign, everyone's playing a fighter, but but depending on like the like abilities you take, you can justify them as like the breathing arts. I
Yeah.
can see it. I can
Okay.
see it.
All right.
I
That's all I
don't
wanted to
think
say.
I don't think it's a suitable I don't think it's very suitable for playing D&D, but you can do it.
Yeah. Sometimes you want a different flavor of D&D, but like, yeah, I'll move on from that. Okay.
Personally, I would recommend I would recommend a different system altogether to play Demon Slayer. But
Yeah, you're probably right.
that's my gripe. That's another
Yeah.
day.
Well, what we were on after that, I was like, I mean,
I
he
think
was
that
saying that, but I don't think he had a different. I don't think he had a different topic in mind. But like,
I don't think we I think I got through like any like ideas that I had.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, just to put a bow on it. Okay, for best items, we say maybe Bleach. For best spells, I'm not sure. Maybe Juice Kaisen. We probably could think of something better. But best races is
Definitely
like
not
Fire.
JJK.
Yeah. But like, yeah, we can figure out
Dragon
later.
Ball.
I mean,
Screw
off
it.
podcast. Dragon Ball for bit
Yeah.
races. But like, yeah, this kind of just taught me like this is a lot more to it than I would have thought. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't think it.
it's
There was so
very
many different angles.
there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to this stuff, and it just depends on how much you want to invest in it.
Yeah, I feel like
Uh,
we can make multiple
I'll
episodes
get
on
back
just
to
just
I'll get
just this
back to
topic.
you when I'll get back to you when I make my comprehensive like RPG system on sports anime.
Okay, wait, we can just make this multiple topics. I was thinking like I was going to go into the whole split about like what would we character alignment put where we put like different anime characters in the character alignment like
Look,
thing, but like that would be
lot
something different. We can do it at a different episode.
character alignment at this point is kind of is kind of a I don't want to say outdated, but it's kind of a dated like trait that like D&D kind of only keeps out of tradition because it has
Yeah,
no effect on the game
yeah, it doesn't.
anymore.
Yeah,
Like
that'd be fun. But
it's
yeah,
just kind of a guideline for role playing.
yeah,
If but
like the
it's
more updated one is like flies and buns, right? Flies, buns,
yeah,
goes.
those are there to basically help you flesh out your personality.
Yeah,
You can of course, and I always encourage it, there is nothing stopping you like from filling in those like personality like boxes with something that is not given to you and just feels right. Again, give me like you could rattle off a list of like quote unquote like quirky anime characters who are that way just because they have like one particular personality trait that's an absolute gag. Shout out, since we were talking about Demon Slayer so much, shout out Zenitsu, who can't activate his actual breathing arts unless he's asleep. In that, at least at the start of the anime. But like, just funky little stuff like that to make it more fun for everybody. But that's that's really all I've got, unless you have anything else to ask.
I think that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much it. This is a little bit. This was a bit of a long one, but I don't know it because sometimes I say it's a bit of a long one. That's like, yeah, we did for an hour and 30 minutes, which is normal. But like, I think this is actually a pretty long one, just because it was. This is pretty much one of the funnest conversations we had. I think.
We nearly yeah. I enjoyed this discussion.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Did you have any closing thoughts yourself?
No.
All right, I'll take that as a sign. All right, I'll see you on the next one, travelers.